Tom Cruise. The only man alive who can cling to a plane mid-flight, charm Oprah into a panic attack, and promote space cult science with the confidence of a motivational speaker on Red Bull. He's Hollywood's most intense adrenaline junkie wrapped in a megawatt smile and a whole lot of weird. For every blockbuster he nails, there's a meltdown, mystery, or meme waiting in the wings. So before he base jumps into his next midlife mission, let's take a dive into the chaos, cringe, and couch-jumping madness that is everything wrong with Tom Cruise. Sorry to interrupt, but Tom Cruise just base jumped off a cliff, and you still haven't clicked subscribe? Priorities? Please. Thanks. Cruise control. Before Tom Cruise was clinging to planes and sprinting through explosions, he was just a short kid with a chipped tooth and a name that sounded like a Renaissance vampire. Thomas Cruise, Mapother IV. He grew up bouncing between 15 schools in 14 years, which is less education and more witness protection program. Add dyslexia, poverty, and a dream of becoming a Catholic priest. Yes, that Tom Cruise. And you've got the weirdest superhero origin story ever. He nearly became Father Cruise. Confession would have had a motorcycle ramp. He tried wrestling, blew out his knee, and stumbled into drama class like the world's shortest linebacker. Then bam! High School Musical. And the rest is history. His first film gig? A shirtless, overacting extra in Endless Love. One line, two abs, and the kind of stare that says, I'm already planning Top Gun in my head. It was awkward, it was chaotic, it was Cruise before the cruise. The legend didn't start, he tripped into frame. The Couchpocalypse. Ever seen Tom Cruise in love? Well, he didn't just declare his love for Katie Holmes. He turned it into a high-speed public breakdown with furniture casualties. In 2005, live on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Cruise leapt onto her couch like it was a trampoline built by Cupids and espresso. He flailed, fist-pumped, and basically auditioned to be the next face of emotional whiplash. America didn't know whether to cheer, laugh, or call security. Katie Holmes watched in horror, and Oprah looked like she was being held hostage by Cupid's over-caffeinated little brother. The clip instantly became the most recycled GIF since the dawn of dial-up, cementing Cruise not as a romantic, but as that guy who mistook Unhinged for passionate. It wasn't just a bad look, it was a PR meteor strike. Hollywood's golden boy had turned into a Red Bull-fueled chaos gremlin in real time, and that poor couch was never the same again. Galactic Overlord energy. If you've ever wondered what it looks like when a movie star goes full cult commander, look no further than Tom Cruise's golden era of Scientology Meltdown. It all began in 2004, when Cruise was handed the Freedom Medal of Valor by church leader David Miscavige. A moment so surreal, it felt like the Oscars got hijacked by Star Trek extras. Tom beamed like he just cured sadness, clapped like a malfunctioning robot, and laughed like someone who'd recently merged minds with Xenu himself. But the real show came in 2008, when leaked footage revealed Cruise giving what may be the most terrifying TED Talk in the galaxy. In it, he claimed Scientologists were the only people who could help at a car crash, or an earthquake, or a flat tire, or maybe your cousin's bad Wi-Fi. He spoke in declarations so intense you'd think he was launching a Death Star. These weren't just PR disasters. They were cosmic train wrecks that turned Cruise into a meme, a punchline, and the unofficial mascot of high-octane space religion. Well, of course, the internet had a field day, and his publicist probably had a panic room. If you didn't believe in aliens before, just watch these clips. You will. The motorcycle stunt heard around the world. When Tom Cruise says he does his own stunts, he doesn't mean fell down during rehearsal. He means drove a motorcycle off a cliff and base jumped into a canyon like a caffeinated eagle on a death wish. In 2023's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Cruise launched himself into thin air in what might be the most expensive cry for help ever recorded. And yes, this was 100% real. No CGI, no stunt double. Just Tom, a dirt bike, and whatever god he was bargaining with mid-air. The behind-the-scenes video had fans screaming, "Icon!" while studio execs clutched their defibrillators. Even the insurance company probably just noped out. Cruise trained for months so he could risk his entire existence for 6 seconds of screen time. And the worst part, he stuck the landing. Of course he did. He's Tom Cruise, the only actor alive whose film strategy is, what if I die on camera, but make it awesome? The Tooth Truth? Let's take a brief detour from explosive stunts and cult medals, and talk about teeth. Specifically, the most famous off-center incisor in Hollywood history, Tom Cruise's middle tooth. That's right, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Dead center in his smile like it's trying to upstage the rest of his face. After decades of orthodontic warfare, braces, veneers, and probably dental seances, you'd think he'd aim for perfection, but nope. He landed squarely on handsome but slightly haunted. The internet lovingly dubbed it the tooth that refused to conform, and honestly it deserves its own IMDb page. That dental rebel has survived more than most actors. Awkward teen years, couch jumping scandals, and every Mission Impossible installment. And through it all, Cruise flashes it like it's a built-in character quirk. It's charming, it's weird. It's a molar-shaped metaphor for his entire career. Slightly off, highly noticeable, and somehow still working. Long live the lone incisor. Psychiatry is a scam. Let's all cancel our therapy sessions, guys. Because Dr. Tom Cruise, Harvard dropout from the Church of Xenu, is here to cure depression with intense eye contact and awkward yelling. In 2005, on The Today Show, Cruise went full conspiracy canon on Brooke Shields for using antidepressants to treat postpartum depression. Why? Because psychiatry, according to Tom, is a pseudoscience. This from a guy who worships a space lord named Xenu and thinks trauma lives in your soul like a squatter. Poor Matt Lauer tried to keep things civil, but Tom was on a roll, lecturing medical science like he just read a WebMD article written by a space wizard. The backlash was instant. Mental health professionals, fans, and actual humans collectively asked, "What the hell is wrong with you?" This wasn't advocacy. It was ego wrapped in ignorance. Tom didn't just insult Brooke, he insulted anyone who's ever seen a doctor. And somehow this isn't even the weirdest thing he did that year. Escape from Scientology. Katie Holmes didn't just divorce Tom Cruise. She executed a mission so covert, so brilliant, it could have been Mission Impossible 8 custody extraction. In 2012, Holmes reportedly used burner phones, decoy meetings, and secret apartments to get away from Cruise and the ever-watchful eye of Scientology. It was like a CIA op, but with more strollers and less explosions. Her goal? Protect daughter Suri from being absorbed into the Church of Space Warlords. And honestly, respect. She didn't just leave a marriage. She escaped an empire. Meanwhile, Tom was blindsided like a dude whose Wi-Fi just cut out mid-meditation. The media went feral, Scientology went silent, and Katie walked off into the sunset with full custody and a standing ovation. It was less conscious uncoupling and more strategic vanishing act. In the end, she didn't just win, she set the gold standard for celebrity getaways. Mission very much accomplished. Mission Unhinged. Picture Tom Cruise, mask on, veins popping, screaming across a film set like he just found out someone double-dipped the salsa. In 2020, during Mission Impossible 7 filming, a leaked audio recording revealed Cruise losing his absolute mind over crew members breaking COVID protocols. And by losing his mind, we mean going full rage monologue like a supervillain with a clipboard. Some called it leadership. Others called it a meltdown in Dolby surround sound. Sure, safety matters, but Tom didn't sound like a concerned boss. He sounded like an apocalypse prepper whose bunker got a scratch. He was seconds away from drop-kicking a face shield. Crew members didn't break protocol again, but probably out of fear he'd body slam a boom mic. It wasn't exactly a masterclass in diplomacy, but hey, at least it wasn't about antidepressants or aliens this time. Just pandemic rage, Hollywood style. Sock slide saga. Ah yes, the risky business scene that launched 1,000 Halloween costumes and made tube socks momentarily sexy. Tom Cruise sliding across the floor in his underwear, sunglasses on like he invented confidence. But behind that buttery smooth glide, total chaos. Cruise admitted he nearly ate hardwood mid-slide and almost turned the most iconic strut in cinema into a full-body whiplash tutorial. The man does his own stunts. but this one involved more ankle risk than clinging to a plane. It was supposed to be suave. It almost became a viral emergency room visit, and yet it worked. That few seconds of "please don't crash" became pop culture gold. Proof that Cruise doesn't need explosions or aircrafts to be intense. Just a wooden floor, dangerously slick socks, and zero shame. It's pure Tom Cruise, accidental legend with a high chance of bruising. Love Actually creepy. Forget The Bachelor. Scientology had its own version of The One, and spoiler alert, it was terrifying. In 2012, reports surfaced that the church allegedly held auditions to find Tom Cruise a new girlfriend. That's right, auditions. Like it was a Broadway musical, and the role was Scientology-compliant love interest number 1. Iranian-British actress Nazanin Boniadi was allegedly selected, given a makeover, a script of pro-Scientology lines, and told to date Cruise like her emotional stability depended on it. When it didn't work out, shocker, she was allegedly punished by the church because nothing says romance like emotional blackmail and a mandatory NDA. Was Tom behind it? Hard to say. But whether he was puppet or puppeteer, it's creepy either way. This wasn't a meet cute. It was a cosmic red flag wrapped in PR nightmares and cult vibes. Swipe left, humanity. Daddy disconnected. You'd think someone who jumps off cliffs for fun would take a few minutes to jump into their daughter's life. But since his 2012 divorce from Katie Holmes, Tom Cruise has been publicly missing in action when it comes to Suri. No photos, no sightings, just silence. Word on the street is, once Holmes left Scientology, Cruise followed his spiritual GPS, far, far away from shared custody. Reps say he cares deeply, which is Hollywood speak for "we lost the plot." Meanwhile, the world watched Suri grow up through long-lens paparazzi photos while Tom kept saving the world on screen and ghosting it at home. It's hard to say what's worse, his total disappearance or the rumors that church rules played referee. Either way, it's not giving Father of the Year, it's giving absentee action figure. You can hang from helicopters all you want, Tom, but maybe return a few birthday texts while you're up there. Boogie Fever, the Bald Edition. In Tropic Thunder, 2008, Tom Cruise transformed into Les Grossman, a fat-suited, bald-headed, foul-mouthed studio exec with the rhythm of an unhinged uncle at a wedding. The result? Hilarious, horrifying, and a little too real. Cruise danced, shouted, and gyrated with the reckless abandon of a man who just learned what TikTok is, and should never use it. His performance was so over the top, so fully committed, people couldn't decide whether to give him an award or a wellness check. Was it parody, midlife crisis, Scientology-sponsored performance art? We may never know. What we do know is that Cruise somehow pulled it off and made it iconic. Against all odds, Les Grossman became the most unforgettable part of the movie, proving that even when Tom Cruise looks like he was built in a wax museum's basement, he can still steal the show. It's funny, it's weird, and it haunts us forever. Eyes Wide Shut. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman were supposed to be the power couple, flawless red carpet royalty. But after Eyes Wide Shut, things got, well, shut. The 1999 film, directed by Stanley Kubrick, had them playing a couple unraveling from within. And spoiler alert, so were they. The movie took over a year to film, and rumor has it, Kubrick used their real tension like it was part of the script. Nicole later said she felt afraid post-divorce. You know, things are bad when Kubrick isn't the most unsettling part of your relationship. After the split, Tom got the church, Nicole got the kids, well, kind of. The adopted children reportedly distanced from her, leading to speculation about, you guessed it, Scientology. It's all very Cold War, but with better lighting. The public saw a perfect couple crumble without explanation. And like all things Cruise-related, what went down behind closed doors remains a mystery. One with masks, secrets, and a suspiciously silent third party named Xenu. Golden Globes? Nah, I'm good. In 2021, Tom Cruise pulled a move so dramatic it could have been a subplot in Mission Impossible. He returned his 3 Golden Globe Awards. Why? To protest the Hollywood Foreign Press Association's embarrassing lack of diversity. And yes, that's a real issue, but let's be honest, this had big moral Stan meets PR flex energy. He wasn't nominated that year. which made the timing feel less like activism and more like cleaning out your trophy shelf when no one's looking. Still, the gesture made headlines. Some called it brave. Others called it performative recycling. But hey, when you're Tom Cruise, even virtue signaling comes with perfect lighting and dramatic music. Meanwhile, struggling actors are out here sacrificing goats for a nomination. And Cruise is out here saying, take 'em back. The Globes are probably still in a broom closet somewhere, wondering what they did wrong. It wasn't nothing, but it definitely wasn't subtle. The studio breakup. In 2006, Paramount did what no villain in Mission Impossible could. They dumped Tom Cruise. After 14 years and a billion-dollar franchise, Viacom's chairman publicly fired him for what they politely called erratic behavior. Translation: jumping on Oprah's couch, waging war on psychiatry, and giving press tours that made QAnon look low-key. This wasn't just a breakup, it was a studio exorcism, and it stunned Hollywood. Tom's team said it was about money, which is adorable because Paramount basically said, we'd rather lose cash than deal with this dude another day. It was one of the few times the studio went, you know what? No movie's worth this much energy. Cruise naturally bounced back like a self-healing action figure. But for one glorious moment, the industry put its foot down and said, enough with the space cult energy, Tom. It was messy. It was public, and it was iconic. Even Ethan Hunt couldn't escape that fallout. 60 Minutes Australia gone wrong. During a 2005 interview on 60 Minutes Australia, Tom Cruise did what he does best. Turned a routine promo tour into an unhinged therapy session. When host Peter Overton gently asked about Cruise's relationship with his kids, the temperature in the room dropped to absolute zero. Tom's smile vanished, his eyes narrowed, and he hit Overton with a line so weird it became legend. Peter, you're being glib. And just like that, glib became code for Tom is about to explode in high def. What followed was an awkward, fidgety power struggle disguised as an interview. Cruise tried to stay in control, but it played more like a Scientology infomercial, co-starring a trapped journalist. Viewers weren't sure whether to change the channel or phone in a wellness check. The whole thing was less charm offensive and more charisma and freefall. It's the moment we learned Cruise can sell anything, except being normal under pressure. Stuntman or Madman? At this point, Tom Cruise isn't just doing his own stunts. He's actively trying to die on camera. In Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, 2015, he famously clung to the outside of an actual flying airplane. Because green screens are for cowards. Sure, it looked cool. Sure, it made audiences gasp. But let's be real. This wasn't about realism. It was about Tom flexing his adrenaline addiction for the world. Each new Mission film feels less like a movie and more like a very expensive dare. Broken bones, near-death experiences, and budget-insulting insurance premiums, all in a day's work for Cruise, Hollywood's most fearless insurance liability. Critics have called it dedication. Others call it self-aggrandizing madness wrapped in a parachute. He claims it's for the fans. We suspect it's for the ego. Because nothing screams humility like dangling off the side of an Airbus to prove you're still got it at 50-something. Tom, buddy, there's a thing called CGI. Look into it, bro. White Savior, the sequel. Nothing says authentic Japanese epic like Tom Cruise galloping in slow motion through a cherry blossom battlefield in The Last Samurai, 2003. The film drew immediate criticism for the classic Hollywood pastime of white guy fixes everything. Cruise plays an American soldier who lands in Japan, learns the ways of the samurai in record time, and ends up doing it better than the actual samurai. That's right, centuries of tradition, honor, and cultural nuance, conquered by one really determined dude with great hair. It's the cinematic equivalent of joining a judo class and becoming the sensei by Wednesday. Critics and audiences alike called out the white savior trope, accusing the film of romanticizing and whitewashing history for the sake of a feel-good redemption arc. While the visuals were stunning, the message was tone-deaf. Tom may have mastered the sword, but he fumbled the cultural sensitivity check. Sometimes the biggest thing you save is your own reputation, from the dumpster fire of bad optics. Dude, where's my bromance? Remember when Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx co-starred in Collateral and gave us one of the coolest assassin chauffeur duos ever? Yeah, that bromance didn't survive the Katie Holmes saga. When Jamie reportedly started dating Cruise's ex-wife in 2013 and kept it hush-hush for years, Tom apparently cut him off like a bad Mission Impossible sequel. By 2019, their friendship had flatlined harder than the Mummy reboot. Sure, dating your friend's ex can get awkward, but ghosting someone for finding happiness with your ex-wife from a divorce in 2012? That's a new level of petty. Rumors swirled about jealousy, betrayal, and Cruise's personal boundaries being guarded tighter than the Vatican vault. Once besties on the red carpet, now Cruise and Fox are as socially distant as Tom is from, well, Suri. It's a shame, really. Collateral 2. Emotional luggage could have been a hit. But Cruise chose the high road by blowing up the bridge entirely. The mummy that should have stayed buried? In 2017, Universal thought they could kickstart a new dark universe with the Mummy reboot starring, you guessed it, Tom Cruise, eternal runner of hallways and destroyer of ancient tombs. What they got instead was a horror-action Frankenstein stitched together with genre confusion and ego-driven set pieces. Cruise was less frightened archaeologist and more glorified superhero, steamrolling the film with his usual cocktail of dramatic sprints, intense whispers, and Tom-centric camera angles. Audiences showed up expecting supernatural chills and left with Mission Impossible, Ancient Egypt Edition. Critics panned it as soulless, CGI-laden, and tone-deaf, and the box office wrapped it up faster than a mummy in gauze. Universal's entire MonsterVerse plan collapsed like a cursed tomb, and Cruise took much of the blame. Turns out, you can't just slap Tom Cruise into a sarcophagus and expect cinematic gold. Some legends are better left undead, and some franchises should never be reanimated with a Scientologist in charge. Kubrick vs. Cruise. Eyes Wide Shut, 1999, was supposed to be an erotic psychological drama. Instead, it may have doubled as a slow-motion wrecking ball for Tom Cruise's marriage to Nicole Kidman. Under the meticulous eye of director Stanley Kubrick, a man who could stretch a simple scene into a 6-day ordeal, Cruise and Kidman spent over a year filming awkward intimacy and trust issues, while playing a married couple with intimacy and trust issues. Subtle, Stanley. The emotionally grueling shoot reportedly strained their real-life relationship, with Kubrick allegedly manipulating their performances by weaponizing their actual marital tension. It was less method acting and more marriage therapy from hell. The movie finally premiered, everyone felt weird, and within 2 years, Tom and Nicole were done. Cruise said he was devastated. Kidman looked ready to sprint into witness protection. So thanks, Kubrick. You gave us an artsy film about desire and fidelity, and a real-life breakup bonus feature. Talk about commitment to realism. And there you have it. The wild, weird, and wonderfully unhinged world of Tom Cruise. Hollywood's most intense action hero with a side hustle in chaos. What do you think of Tom Cruise? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.